Hi, welcome to Lies and Secrets channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching. Happy New Year to all our wonderful listeners, Sparkles, as we step into a fresh chapter made this year. Bring us tales of courage, love, and hope. Let's journey forward together, crafting stories that inspire and uplift. I hope you enjoy today's story. Let's dive in. I opened my eyes to an unfamiliar cold room. The sharp scent of antiseptic filled the air, making my head pound with a persistent ache that seemed to drill into my very thoughts. I tried to move, but my body felt sluggish, as if weighed down by invisible chains. The last clear memory I had was a searing pain in my chest, as though someone had reached in and ripped my heart out. Luna's face was the last thing I saw, her expression hauntingly familiar yet inexplicably different. There was something else too, a shadowy figure, faceless but unforgettable. Then everything went black. When I finally regained full consciousness, my eyes landed on Luna. She sat quietly beside my hospital bed, her hand delicately resting on mine. Her face was with concern, her eyes swollen and red, as if she'd been crying for hours for a fleeting moment. I wanted to believe it, to think her worry was genuine, her presence comforting. But then she spoke, "Darling," she whispered, her voice wavering. "I'm so sorry you had to see that. I should have shielded you from it. I never wanted you to find out like this." Her words were a jarring mismatch with the image I'd carried of her, the woman I'd shared my life with. I longed to trust her, to fall back into the illusion of her love. But the memory stabbed at me like a blade, twisting with every passing moment. I couldn't ignore it. I knew what I'd seen Luna, and I had been married for a decade. Our life in a charming Berlin apartment seemed perfect to everyone around us. I had a thriving career as a financial analyst, and Luna was excelling in the elite world of luxury hospitality. Together, we were the kind of couple others envied, polished, accomplished, seemingly untouchable. Or so I thought. Lately, though, cracks had started to show. Luna had become distant, preoccupied. I convinced myself it was the stress of her demanding job, the relentless climb in her career. She was fiercely ambitious, and I admired her drive. Yet at night when she came home, something was different. Her gaze seemed far away, her laughter hollow, never quite reaching her eyes. In hindsight, the signs were there: the late nights at work, the half-empty wine bottles I'd find in the kitchen, the furtive way she would glance at her phone and quickly put it away when I walked in, but I turned a blind eye. I trusted her completely. I believed we were happy until that night. Started with a strange, nagging feeling I couldn't shake. I left work early, eager to get home. The moment I stepped into our apartment, I noticed her coat was missing along with her bag. That wasn't unusual. But then I heard something, a faint murmur of voices coming from the bedroom. A knot tightened in my stomach. I should have walked away, respected her space, but an unseen force drew me toward the door. I pushed it open, just a fraction enough to glimpse inside. What I saw will forever be etched into my memory. Luna was on the bed, her clothes scattered across the floor. She wasn't alone. Beside her was Moss, a colleague from her hotel. I recognized him instantly. I'd met him at social events. Always charming and just a little too familiar with Luna. I dismissed it back then, chalking it up to his friendliness. But now, seeing them together, the truth hit me like a sledgehammer. Luna's eyes were shut, her breathing shallow. She kissed him with an intensity one hadn't seen in years. Connection between them was undeniable, raw electricity. I couldn't deny it. The worst part wasn't the physical act I had witnessed. It was the unspoken bond between them. The way they moved together revealed a closeness, a familiarity and intimacy I had never shared with Luna. Time seemed to freeze. The only sound was a deafening thud of my heartbeat, drowning out everything else. I was paralyzed, rooted to the spot, unable to comprehend a nightmare unfolding before me. And then, mercifully, the darkness consumed me when I awoke in the hospital. Everything felt surreal, as though I were trapped in a cruel dream. My mind was detached, unable to reconcile with the harsh reality around me. Luna's words, her attempts at an apology felt hollow, devoid of meaning. They couldn't possibly be real. How could they be? I had no idea how long I lay in that hospital bed, caught in a maelstrom of emotions, the scene in our bedroom replayed over and over in my mind, a vivid, tortuous loop I couldn't erase. The image of Luna's betrayal, couldn't forget the face of Moss seared into my memory like a scar. Luna stayed by my side, waiting for me to say something, anything, but I couldn't bring myself to look at her. Every time I tried, the memory of them together surged forward. Her face has touched their pleasure. It was unbearable. The woman I had loved, trusted, and built a life which had destroyed it all, yet the cruelest part was her expectation of forgiveness. "You don't need to explain," I said at last, my voice cold and detached. "I know exactly what happened. Take a deep breath. This journey is heavy, and I know it stirs something deep. If you want to see how the protagonist faces this painful truth and rebuilds his life, stay tuned. Let's continue." Luna flinched at my tone, tears welling up in her eyes. "Please," she pleaded, her voice breaking. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean for things to get this far. It was a mistake." I wanted to scream. I wanted to lash out to make her feel the anguish tearing me apart, but I didn't. I refused to give her that power. Instead, I stared at her, my voice tight with bitterness. "A mistake," I repeated, my words laced with quiet venom. "Do you have any idea how much effort it takes to destroy something we built over 10 years? How much it takes to shatter a marriage like ours?" But something unexpected happened in that sterile hospital room. As Luna continued her tearful apologies, begging for my forgiveness, I felt no anger, not the fiery rage I had anticipated. Instead, I was overcome with an eerie calm, a clarity I hadn't experienced in years. I didn't feel sorry for myself. I didn't see myself as a victim. I felt liberated from the illusion I had clung to for so long, free from a love that had only ever been one-sided. That's when it struck me. I knew what I had to do. I would ensure Luna regretted her betrayal. Not with loud accusations or heated arguments. That wasn't my way. I would approach this methodically, intelligently. Over the following days, I played the part of a broken man. I let Luna believe I was lost, confused, unsure my next steps. I listened to her justifications, nodded at her tears, and said little. Meanwhile, I set my plan in motion. I reached out to Moss's wife, an innocent woman blindsided by his deceit, much like I had been. I told her everything, sparing no detail, the text messages, the clandestine meetings, the lies. I painted a vivid picture of the betrayal, but I didn't stop there. I discreetly contacted Luna's colleagues and supervisors, planting subtle truths about her unethical rise in her career, the manipulation, the backstabbing. I let those whispers do their work. When the chaos around Luna reached its peak, I made my final move. I filed for divorce. I took the apartment, the savings, everything we had built together. But it wasn't a material gain. I was after it was a control. Luna's tears, her desperate pleas, no longer moved me. The divorce was finalized, and Luna was left with nothing, no lover, no career, no reputation. And as her world crumbled, I felt nothing, no satisfaction, no joy, just an emptiness replaced by something far more valuable. Freedom. In that moment, I understood something profound. True revenge isn't about what you do to another person. It's about reclaiming yourself, your dignity, your sense of purpose. As I walked away from the wreckage of my old life, a phrase echoed in my mind: the greatest revenge is living well. My story ends here. If you feel that this story is meaningful and brings useful lessons, please like and subscribe to the channel to support me. Thanks for listening, and see you in the next videos.